Now let's return to our top story this morning. Lots of you getting in touch. A quarter of GPs are planning to leave their practice in the next 2 years. That's according to a survey by the British Medical Association in Scotland. We heard earlier from Scottish Labour and the Scottish Conservatives. Let's speak now to Martyn Day MP, who's the SNP spokesperson on health at Westminster. Good morning to you, Mr Day.
Good morning.
What's your reaction to the BMA survey that is out this morning?
I think obviously the BMA obviously know the local factors probably better than I do. You know, it's their profession, but it reminds me of the old Irish joke about directions. You know, how do you get somewhere? Well, we wouldn't start from here. And I think the reality is that the UK, all four health services are facing massive challenges. And I put a lot of the blame to that the UK has underinvested in health compared to our European neighbours over decades.
And does that mean Scotland's underinvested in health? The SNP
I think the UK has underinvested because the large part of our funding comes from the block grant. Now, Scotland has put every penny it's received extra from health into health and care. We spend more per head in health and care than we do elsewhere in the UK. We've got a higher number of doctors, nurses and GPs. All of that is comparatively good. But the underlying problem is the UK underfunding of the health service, and we won't solve that unless we start spending what our European neighbours do.
So you're blaming Westminster?
Well, Westminster has been a major contributing factor to that. It controls the purse strings. Unfortunately, Scotland does not have the ability to borrow to fund improved spending like other nations.
Health has devolved, though.
Yes, health has devolved, but you have to operate within the spending envelope that you have. And I think Scottish Government has done remarkably well by spending more per head than than the other three nations in the UK have.
So you mentioned the Scottish Government has said that Scotland has more GPs per head than any other part of the UK. Yep. However, the number of surgeries has fallen since your party has been in office. Is that not a greater problem?
Well, I mean, the two are tied together, and the reality is you need to get more people through. Now, part of the issue is we've been losing GPs as a result of Westminster's pensions policy. They're only now starting to address that. So we've got the legacy effect of that. We've got to train more people, and Brexit has, of course, depleted the number of foreign GPs that have been coming into the country. And those that are here have been expressing difficulties with the Home Office's sort of processes and sort of negative environment. Many of them thinking of leaving. So we need to get more foreign doctors in, and we need to train more of our own. But remember, it takes about 9 years to train a GP. So we've got to do something that brings people in, and the UK's migration policies are not helping us.
The UK government says it wants the devolved nations to work together to tackle waiting lists, Mr Day. Are you willing to enter into that spirit of cooperation?
I think there's a lot that all of our nations can learn from good practice in each of the other nations. Obviously, when it comes to waiting lists, the Scottish NHS has the best performing A&E waiting times in the UK. So there's a lot we can contribute positively to that. But health has devolved, and what would be much better for us would be adequate funding.
OK, thank you for your time this morning. Martyn Day MP there, the SNP's spokesperson at Health in Westminster. Lots of people getting in touch with us this morning about the issue of health. Let me just read a couple here. Catherine says, I was referred to a specialist service in NHS England 22 months ago due to long waiting times and my care mismanaged here in Scotland. I've been seen very quickly on referral and have so far travelled to London 12 times. She says that care from NHS England has been exemplary so far. Vivian says, I have to fill out online forms for parents between set hours and adds a photo for callback. Perhaps we should change that. Lots of you getting in touch. Keep them coming. You can text me on 80295 or you can tweet at BBC Radio Scot using the hashtag BBC Sunday Show.